Measuring angles in degrees and radians. Pi equal 180 degree. For example, express the following angles in radian measures in terms of pi. (60° equal 60 over 180 pi. So 60° equal pi over 3. 120 degree equal 120 over 180 pi. So equal 2/3 pi. Express in degrees the angles with the following radian measures. Now we change radian to degrees. 2/3 pi equal 2/3 pi times 180 degree equal 120 degree. 1.2 pi equal 1.2 times 100 multiplied by 180 degree equal 216 degree. Use calculator to convert the following angles from radians to degree. Make sure your calculator in radians mode. From this case, I will use Casio ClassPad. Casio ClassPad here. Make sure you are in degree type, degree, sense degree, radian in degree type, and then press keyboard here, press number 0.6, and then press mat 1, press R, and then press X. You can see the answer is 0.8 over pi. And how to change the radian to be a degree? Press this one, convert decimal to fraction or fraction to decimal here. The answer is 34.38 degree. And the others is, press again number, see number 3.72, and then press match 1 R, and then press X here. You can see the answer is 3,348 over 5 pi. And then from here I will change to degree, press 0.5 to convert to decimal here, and the answer is 213 degree 0.4. From the Casio ClassPad, I can find the answer is 0.6 in radian mode. So equal 34.38 degree, and this one equal 213.14 degree. Defining circular function sine and cosine, you can see here the horizontal, this one here, you can see here, this one the x over 1 equal cosine theta, and y, so the y over 1 over 1 is equal sine theta. For each of the following angles t, determine the value of sine t and cos t. So sine t equals sine t, sine t, sine, so it means sine 3 pi over 2. Pi is equal 180 degree, so equals 180 degree times 3 divided by 2 equals 270 degree. And press your calculator. Sine 270 degree is equal -1. For number 2, sine t equals sine minus pi. Pi is equal 180 degree. Sine minus 180 degree. Press your calculator. The answer is 0. So sine 3 pi over 2 equal -1 and sine negative pi equals 0. Evaluate using your calculator. Make sure your calculator is in radian mode. Sin 1.9 equal 0.95. Just press your calculator in radian mode. Cos 2.1 equal -0.5. Class pad here. Make sure you are in the radian mode. I press my keyboard here. Press mat 1. See here sine number 1.9. Press Excel equal, and I try to find how many degree. I press this one. So sine 1.9 in radian mode equals 0.946. So I can round it become 0.95. And cos 2.1 in radian mode equal cos 21 over 10. I try to convert to degree, equal -0.5. Evaluate tan 3 pi over 2 equal. Make sure 1 pi equal 180 degrees, so it's tangent 3 over 2 times 180 degree. So equal tangent 270 degree, and press your calculator. The answer is undefined. Tangent pi, which means tangent 180 degree equal 0. Just press your calculator. Use the calculator to find correct to 2 decimal places. Don't forget that your calculator must be in radian mode. So tangent 1.6 equal negative 34.23, and tangent 3.9 equal 0.95. Press your class pad. Make sure in the radian mode. Press tangent 1.6 in radian mode equal negative 34.23 degree. 20. And then tangent 3.9 equal, make sure one more time, make sure your calculator in the radian mode. 0.947. I round it because it becomes 0.95. For trigonometry ratio, sine theta equal opposite over hypotenuse, and cos theta equal adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent theta equal opposite over adjacent. For example, find the value of the pronumeral for each of the following. Number 1, we try to find the x. And then we will use sine, cos, or tangent. You can see his x is adjacent, and then 5 is the hypotenuse. So we must using formula of cos. So cos 25 degree equal x over 5. Because we just know adjacent and hypotenuse, so we only use cos. Cos 25 equal 0.91 equal x over 5. So x equal 0.91 times 5. So x equal 4.53. So the x equal, for the first number, the x equal 4.53. And then number 2, we find the theta here. Theta, we also know adjacent and hypotenuse, so using cos theta equal 3 over 8, and theta equal use your calculator, press shift cos in the calculator, and then you can find the degree of the theta equal 68 degree. So theta is equal 68 degree. And then for number, the last number, find the x. We know the opposite and hypotenuse, so we're using sine 20 degree equal x over 10. So the answer is 10 times 10 multiplied by sin 20 equal 3.42. So the x equal 3.42. For the first quadrant is this part here. First quadrant is here. All are positive. Sine, cosine, tangent, everything is positive. In second quadrant, only sine is positive. In third quadrant, only tangent is positive. In the fourth quadrant, only cos is positive. Here, start from 0 until 90 degree is the first quadrant, and second quadrant is 90 degree until 180 degree, and the third quadrant is 180 degree until 270 degree, and the fourth quadrant is from 270 degree until 360 degree. Here is some formula of symmetry properties of circular function. We will try to use it later. I'll give you one example from here. For example, sine 45 degree. So equal how many? I use this formula. Sine 45 degree equal sine pi over 2 is 90 degree minus 45 degree equal cos 45 degree, because the theta is 45. So sine 45 degree equal cos 45 degree. You can check your calculator, and you can try also the other formula. So one formula for unit circle properties. I will choose one example here. I will choose this one. So answer is sine 180 degree equal 1 pi is 180 degree. So it's called sine 180 degree. 120 equal 180 degree minus 60 degree. This one is theta. This one is x. So equals sin 60. So the x. So sine 120 equal sine 60 degree. Shifting by pi over 2, I will choose one formula. For example, I will choose this one. So pi over 2 is 90 degree. So I will choose cos 30 degree plus 90 degree equal negative, this on the x is here, negative sin 30 degree. So cos 120 degree equal negative sine 30 degree. Here also some formula for sine, tangent, and cos. I will choose one of them. I try use this one. The first formula, sine 30 plus 90 degree equal cos 30, because the x is here. So sine 120 equal cos 30 degree. If sine theta equals 0.42 and cos x equals 0.7 and tangent alpha equals 0.38, write down the value of sin pi plus theta. Remember the formula of the on page 14. So sin pi plus theta equal negative sin theta equal sin theta is 0.42, so negative 0.42. For cos pi minus x equal, see again the formula on page 14. Cos pi minus x equal negative cos x equal negative cos x equal 0.7. So the answer is negative 0.7. Tan 2 pi minus alpha equal see the formula on page 14. You can find tan 2 pi minus alpha equal minus tangent alpha equal negative 0.38. Here the table for sine, cos, and tangent and cotangent. Sine 0 equal 0. Sine pi over 6 or 30 degree equal 1/2, and so on. For example, if cos x equal negative cos pi over 6 and x are smaller than pi and x bigger than pi over 2, find the value of x. So, cos x equal negative, the value of pi over 6 is, value of pi over 6 is root 3 over 2. From here you can see from the table page 18, the value of negative root 3 over 2, the x can be 5 pi over 6 or x equal 7 pi over 6. And we see the x are between pi over 2 until pi. So this one is bigger than pi. So this one is not included. This one, the answer, because 5 pi over 6 is smaller than pi but bigger than pi over 2. So this one the answer. For diagram shown, write down the value of A equal cos pi minus theta. See the formula on page 14. Cos pi minus theta equal negative cos theta. From here, I try to make a triangle. So theta is here. The value is here. The value is 1/2. The value of y is this one. The value of y is root 3 over 2. Using Pythagoras theorem, you find this one, the hypotenuse. So hypotenuse equal root 3 over 2 square plus 1/2 square. So the hypotenuse equal 1. So negative cos theta, cos is mean adjacent over hypotenuse. So A equal negative 1/2. Sin pi minus theta, see formula on page 14. Sin pi minus theta equals sin theta. Sin theta is opposite over hypotenuse. So the answer is root 3 over 2. Without using a calculator, evaluate the sine, cos, tangent for each the following. Number 1, sine 180 degree equal sine 120 equal 180 minus 60 degree. Using the formula of the page 14. So sine 180 minus 60 equal sine 60. So equal 1/2 root 3. For cos 120 equal cos 180 minus 60. 180 minus 60 is equal 120. So from the formula in page 14, you can find is cos 180 minus 60 equal negative cos 60. So equal negative 1/2. For tangent 120 are equal tangent 180 minus 60. So equal negative tangent 60. Negative root 3. So for sine 120 degree equal 1/2 root 3. For cosine 120 equal negative 1/2. And tangent 120 equal negative root 3. This one is graph for fx equals sine x. So you can see the value here. If negative pi equals 0, negative pi equals 0 is here. Negative 3/4 pi equal negative 1 over square root of 2. Square root of 2 here. And pi negative pi over 2 equal negative 1. Here negative pi over 4 equal negative 1 over square root of 2. Here and x equals 0, so y equal 0 also here. So the graphic is like this for graphic sine x. Here is graphic for y equal cos x. When the x equal 0, y equal 1 is here. And when x equal pi over 4, 1/4 pi, y equal 1 over square root of 2 is here. Pi over 2 and the y equals 0. You can press your calculator to check it. X equals 3/4 pi, so y equal cos 3/4 pi equal negative 1 over square root of 2 is here. So the graphic is like this for fx equal cos x. For graph of y equal a sine n parenthesis t plus minus epsilon plus minus b, and y equal a cosine n parenthesis t plus minus epsilon plus minus b. The period is 2 pi over n, is on the n is here. The amplitude is a, this one the amplitude. The maximal domain is R, real, and the range is minus a until a. We will see the example. Write down the period and amplitude of each the following. Number 1, 3 sine 2x. Number 2, 2 cos pi t. For graph y equals 3 sine 2x, find the period. You can see the formula on page 24. Period equal period equal 2 pi over n. This one the n. So 2 pi over 2. So the period is pi. Or you can see the period is mean one hill, one valley. So period from here to here. So from here to here is a pi. For the amplitude is the maximum height of the amplitude from here to here. The amplitude is 3. This one the amplitude. You can see formula on page 24. The height of the wave is 3. For the find how to sketch a graph, you can using the calculator, graphic calculator, or Desmos calculator online, or you can use you do manually like this. X is equal to y. When the x is 0, y also 0. When the x equal pi over 4, you substitute pi over 4 to here. So 3 sine 2 times pi over 4 equal 3. So you can see the maximum of the amplitude is 3. Pi over 2 equal 0, and so on until you draw the graph like this. For the graph to cos pi t, the period is 2 pi over n. You can see the formula on page 24. N is pi. So 2 pi over pi. So the answer is 2. For the amplitude is here. It's A. This one is amplitude. So the amplitude is 2. To get a graph, you can use Desmos calculator or graphic calculator, or you do manually. Put like this. Substitute the x is x0. Substitute x0 to here. You will find the y is 2. If x is 1/2 and pi is 0. If x is 2, pi is 2, and so on until you got the graph like this. For the period is from here to here. So this is the period from here to here. Or the period can be one hill, one valley, or from here to here, the period. And for the amplitude is the height. The height of this one, of the wave, is 2. This one, the amplitude is 2. Sketch the graph of f 0 until 2, member of a real number. So sketch the graph y equal 3 sine parenthesis 2 pi t. And number 2, fx equal 2 cos 3x for x member of for x until 0 until 2 pi. Graphic for y equal 3 sine 2 pi t. You can use graphic calculator. Here the graphic, or you can do manually like this. X times y. If x equal 0, substitute 0 to here. You will got the y equal 3 sine 0 is 0. If x equal 1/2, 1/4, substitute 1/4 to here, you will got 3 times sine 2 pi times 1/4. The answer is 3. And so on. 1/2 is 0. 3/4 is -3. 1 is 0. So you will get the answer, the graph like this. Sketch the graph of fx equals to cos 3x from start from 0 until 2 pi. You can use Desmos calculator or graphic calculator, or you can use you do manually. X and y. If x 0, substitute 0 to here. 3 times 0 is 0. Cos 0 is 1. Times 2 equal 2. If x is pi over 6, substitute pi over 6 to here. You will answer 0. Pi over 3. Negative 2. Pi over 2. 0. Until you got 2 pi. Because until 2 pi here. 2 pi equal 2. So it's on the graphic. Sketch the graph of each the following for x 0 until 2 pi. List the x-axis intercept its graph for this interval. You can use graphic calculator, or you can use manually. Like this, manually. Substitute. If x equal pi over, I will start with x, start with 0, and then y equal negative square root of 3 pi over 6 pi over 6. The y equal 0. Pi over 4. Y equals 0.27. Pi over 3. Substitute the pi here to this place, and you got the y. X equal 3 pi over 4, negative 3.73 0, and so on. If 5.27 from here, the list x-axis intercept. X-axis intercept is mean y equals 0. It's on the axis intercept here. It's here. It's in dot here. Yeah, until this one. So the y-intercept is can be the y0. This one. So the answer can be pi over 6, pi over 3, when the y is 0, and then 7 pi over 6, and one more is 4 pi over 3. If 13 pi over 6 of also the y is equal to 0, but this one is not included because it's more than 2 pi. Sketch the graph of y to cos 2 parenthesis x minus pi over 3 minus 1. For the x is start from negative pi until 2 pi. Here you can using the graphic calculator to find it, or you can use manually, like this, manually. x and y. If x negative pi, substitute negative pi to here, to x, change the x become negative pi, and you will get the answer. The answer, the y is equal negative 2. Here, graph. If pi equal negative 5 pi over 6, the y equal 0. You substitute negative 5 pi over 6 to here, so you will get the answer y is equal 0, and so on. Negative 2 pi over 3 equal 1. You will get the graph like this, the graph. Here the formula to find the angle of the sine, cos, and tangent. For example, if sine, I will choose this formula. For example, sine 30 degree. So the alpha is 30. So the x can be 30 degree is 1/2. From this formula, I can find another angle have its value equal 1/2. From this formula, alpha plus 360 degree. So x can be 390 degree, also 1/2. Or use this formula here. So sine 180 minus alpha is 30. So sine 150 also 1/2. We see the another example. Another example, find all the value of x between 0 and 2 pi for which cos x equal 1/2. Okay, I will try to answer it according to formula on page 33. Cos x equal 1/2. 1/2 is cos 60 degree. So the alpha equal 60 degree. And use the formula of page 33. X is equal alpha plus 60 degree. If k equals 0, so the x equal 60 plus 0 times 330 degree, 360 degree. So the x equals 60 degree. If k equal 1, x means 60 plus 1 plus 360 degree. So x equal 390 degree. But this one is bigger than 2 pi. So this one is not include, only this one. Only 60 degrees. So I put here x equals 60 degree. And then I find another formula on page 33. X equal negative alpha plus k times 360 degree. So another formula on page 33. So x equal negative 60 plus, if k is 1, so x equal 300 degree. 300 still below, smaller than 2 pi, so this include 300. If k equals 2, the x is more than 360 degree, more than 2 pi. So the answer is for cos x equal 1/2, x can be 60 degree, x also can be 300 degree. You can check your calculator. Cos 60 equal 1/2. Cos 300 degree also 1/2. For sine x equal 0.8, sine x equal 0.8. So sine x equal, using your calculator, 0.8 is means sine 53 degree. So this one, the alpha is 53 degree. The alpha equal 53 degree. See the formula on page 33. X equal alpha plus k times 360 degree. If k equals 0, so x equal 53. If k equal 1, x equal 413 degree. But 413 degree is more than 2 pi. So this one not include, only this one. So x equal 53 degree. And another formula to find, you can see on page 33. X equal 183 degree minus alpha plus k 360 degree. On page 33 you can see the formula. So x equal, if k equals 0, k equals 0, so the x equal 180 minus 53 plus 0, so the x equal 127 degree. 127 is smaller than 2 pi, and this is smaller than 2 pi and bigger than 0. So x is 127 degree. How about the k equal 1? If k equal 1, the x equal 487. This one is bigger than 2 pi. So this one is not included, only this one. So x equal 53 degree or x equal 127 degree. Sine 53 degree equal 0.8. Sine 127 degree equal 0.8. You can check your calculator to make sure. For sine 2 theta equal negative 1 over square root 2. So sine 2 theta equal sine square root 1 negative 1 over square root 2 is equal sine 225 degree. So the alpha equal 225 degree. So see the formula on page 33. This on the x, 2 theta is equal to x, equal x on the formula. 2 theta equal, the alpha is 225. If k equals 0, so 2 theta equal 225 plus 0. So theta equals 225 divided by 2, 112.5 degree. 112.5 degree theta. If k equal 1, 2 theta equal 225 plus 360 degree. So 2 theta equal 585 and theta equal 585 divided by 2, 292.5 degree. 292.5 degree. If k equal to, the theta is more than 2 pi, more than 360 degrees, so it's not included if k equal 2. So we stop until k equal 1. And then another formula is to find sine x equal, the x is 2 theta, 180 degree minus alpha plus k time. The k is the real number. So 2 theta equal 180 minus 225. The k is 1. If 0, it will become negative. So k equal 1 here. K can be 0, can be 1, can be 2. It's a real number. So theta, 2 theta equal 315. Theta equal 315 divided by 2. 157.5. 157.5. If k equals 2, 2 theta equal 100 minus 225 plus 2 times 360 degree. So 2 theta equal 675, and then theta equal 675 divided by 2, 337.5 degree. 337.5 degree. If k equal 3, the theta is become 517.5 degree. Is more than 2 pi, more than 360 degrees, so it's not included. So the answer for theta can be 112.5, can be 292.5, can be 157.5, or 337.5. You can check if sin 2 theta equal this one. Just substitute the theta to here to check the answer. If sine x equals 0.3, cos alpha equals 0.6, tangent theta equals 0.7, find the value of sine pi over 2 plus alpha. See the formula on page 15. Sine pi over 2 plus alpha equal cos alpha. So equal 0.6. 0.6. For cos pi over 2 plus x, you can see formula on page 15. Cos pi over 2 plus x equal negative sin x. So equal negative 0.3. For tangent pi over 2 minus theta, you can see on formula page 16. Equal cotangent theta, so it means 1 over tangent theta, so 1 over 0.7, so equal 10 over 7. Here the graph of the tangent function, when the pi, negative pi, the y is 0. Here, if negative 3 pi over 4, 3/4 pi equal 1. When the negative pi over 2, negative 1/2 pi equal undefined, here undefined, so undefined, unlimited, and so on. This one the graph of tangent function. If graph y equal a tan times nt, so the period is pi over n, and the asymptote for the equation t equal 2k plus 1 times pi multiplied by pi over 2n, where k is an integer. And the t-axis intercept are t equal k multiplied by pi over n, where k is an integer. You see the example. For this example, y equal tan 2x over 3. So the period from formula page 37, the period equal pi over n, it's on the n, pi over 2/3, so the period is 3 pi over 2. The asymptote equal asymptote x equal 2k plus 1 multiplied by pi over 2n. So the asymptote is 2k plus 1 multiplied by pi, n is 2/3. You can cross this one, 2 and 2 is cross it, so the answer is 3k plus 1 pi over 2. For the axis intercept x equal k pi over n, so k pi over 2/3. So the axis intercept equal k multiplied by pi over 2, where the k is an integer. So the period 3 pi over 2. So the period is on the axis intercept, and this one is asymptote. Sketch the graph for x negative pi until pi and y equal to tan 3x. Here we go, the graph. You can use the graphic calculator or online graphic calculator like Desmos calculator, or you can use do manually like this. So y, start the x negative pi, and you substitute negative pi to here. Press your calculator, you find the y equals 0. If x is pi, x is negative 5 pi over 6 So the y equal undefined. If x equal 2 pi over 3, the y is 0. If x negative pi over 2, the answer also undefined. See, if x negative 5 pi over 6 is undefined, negative pi over 2 undefined, and so on until you get this graphic. For solve x of the following equation for x is smaller or equal than pi, and x bigger or equal than negative pi. Cross this one, so tan 2x equal root 3. Tan 2x, using your calculator, you can find the root 3 is tangent 60. So the formula, page 33, alpha, this one the alpha is 60 plus k 180. Remember, the x start from negative pi until pi. If negative 3, the x is smaller than negative pi, so this one is not included. If k equal negative 2, the x equal 60 plus k is negative 2 times 180 degree, so x equal 2x and 2x, so it's not included here, so 2x equal negative 300, so x equal negative 150 degree, so x equal negative 5 pi over 6. This one is correct. Between, this one is bigger than negative pi and smaller than pi, so I put down one answer is negative 5 over pi over 6. And I find another, if k equal negative 1, if k equal negative 1, if k equal negative 1, k is an integer, so 2x equal 60 plus negative 1 times 180 degree, so 2x equal negative 420, so x equal negative 60, so x equal negative pi over 3. And I tell also, if k equal 0, do the same, k equals 0, so the x equal 30 degree, so x equal pi over 6. If k equal 1, x equal 2 pi over 3. If k equals 2, and x is bigger than, x equal 210 is bigger than pi, so this one is not included. So the answer is negative 5 pi over 6, negative pi over 3, pi over 6, 2 pi over 3. This one is the application question. If it suggested that the height in meters of the tide above mean sea level during a particular day at sea break is given approximately by the rule ht equal 5 sine in parentheses pi over 6t, where t is the number of hours after midnight. Draw the graph of y is t for t bigger or equal 0 and t smaller or equal than 24. When was the high tide? What was the height of the high tide? What was the height of the tide at 2 a.m.? What was the height of the tide at 2 p.m.? A boat can only cross the harbor bar when the tide is at least 2.5 meters above mean sea level. When could the boat cross the harbor bay on this day? Here the graph for ht equal 5 sine pi over 6t. You can use the graphic calculator or you can use manually. Do manually like this. 0 if x 0, substitute to here. So y is 0 if x is 3, y is 5, if x is 6, y is 0, 9 is negative 5, 12 is 0, 15, 5, 18, 0, 21 is negative 5, and 24 for 0. When was the high tide? The high tide is 5, it's here. Is here when? During the x, the t equal 3 and 15. So what was the height of when was the high tide is during the t equal 3 and t equal 15. What was the height of the high tide? Here. So the height is 5 meters above the mean sea level. 5 meters. What was the height of the tide? What was the height of the tide at 2 a.m.? If ht equal 5 sine pi. What was the height of the tide at 2 a.m.? So t equal 2 a.m. 2. Substitute here. So it's 2 equal 5 sine pi over 6 times 2. So the answer is 5 square root of 3 over 2 meters. What was the height of the tide at 2 a.m.? 2 p.m. If 2 p.m. is mean the t equal 14. 2 p.m. equal 14. So it's 14 equal 5 sine pi over 6 times 14. So the height is 5 square root of 3 over 2 meters. A boat can only cross the harbor bar when the tide is at least 2.5 meters above mean sea level. When could the boat cross the harbor bar on this day? So at least 2.5 meter, 5 sine pi over 6t. 2.5 over 5 equal sine pi t. 1/2 equal sine pi t. So 1/2 can be sine pi over 6, can be sine 5 pi over 5 pi over 6, can be sine 13 pi over 6, can be sine 17 pi over 6. So t can be if sine pi over 6 equal sine pi over 6 times t, so t equal t equal 1. If sine 5 pi over 6, so t equal 5. If sine 13 pi over 6, so t equal 13. If sine 17 pi over 6, t equal 6. And then we can see the graph here. From t equal 1, t is equal 1, t is 1 is here, so 2.5 meter, t equal 5 is here, so 2.5 also. So the board can cross during t equal 1 until 5, or see the border here, or this one is 13, this one is 17, or the board can cross during 13 until 17 hours.